Hello, sir.
Hello?
How's it going?
I'm good, how are you?
Pretty good.
Yeah. Did you say you literally changed times today?
Yeah,
Daylight
yeah,
savings?
we went an hour forward today.
When do we do that?
I looked it up. I think you guys are March 29th.
I see, okay.
Yeah, you guys call it something differently too, I noticed. We call it...
We have summertime and wintertime.
Yeah, we just call it
Yes.
daylight savings time.
Yeah. Alright, well, no problem. Fortunately, it fit anyway, so we're good.
Good.
I'm already inside Dota 2. What are we doing today?
Well, not quite sure. I'm thinking, I just want to know, like, how to increase my farming. So I'm thinking that's just my last hits. Then I don't think you can really help me with that, is there? Much you can do there.
Oh, hang on. A second.
No problem.
Sorry to interrupt you, I'm just checking something really quick with this.
Yeah, no worries. Take your time.
Oh, okay. Alright, thanks. PayPal. Yeah, there we go. Alright, excellent. Yep. Okay, so mainly farming efficiency, you're saying? Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, I'm looking at. I like the number 1, like number 2 position. Like,
Okay.
Tinker is my favorite hero. I know
Okay,
he's.
that's ambitious.
Oh, I love him. He's fun as hell, but he's severely nerfed. I know, but.
It's also very difficult to play.
Oh yeah, he's difficult, but I like him.
That's good.
I think I've gone pretty
Okay.
decent with him. Yeah, there's a lot of things I'd like to know. Like, I want to get better at my hero picking so I can get out of this frickin' MMR hell.
Okay. What's that hell?
I'm 2.7 right now.
Okay.
But I think like I said, I think I'm much better than that. It's just, I get, well, you know, pubs. I watch your streams.
Yeah.
You get stuck with shit teams.
Yeah, well, the thing is about that, if you want to do the math on it, here's a little bit of very simple math to get us started. There's 10 players in the game, and you're one of them.
Yeah.
That means your chance of getting idiots on your team is 4 out of 5. Or there's 4 slots, and the enemy team has 5 slots.
Yeah.
So if you're good yourself, then statistically by playing enough, you will climb. If you're better than where you are, that's just the way the system works.
Yeah.
So if you're confident you're better than where you are, then it's all about just understanding the game, improving your own play, and then yes, you will have some shit games like the ones I'm showing on my stream where I have teams that are seemingly uncarryable, and then the next game I have a super easy game because the enemy team is bad, and over the course of 1,000 games, it's evenly split, and maybe it hopefully it favors you, because then that means you're not one of the players you're trying not to be, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
so that's fine. Like, okay. Well, there's a couple of approaches we can take to this. So let's talk about that first. There's many ways we can look at what you want to improve on. We can do replay analysis, so we take 2 or 3 of your recent replays and look at them, and I'll point out things you need to improve on. Alternatively, we can look at, you can play a game live right now and I coach you during the game and tell you what I'm thinking, what you should be thinking, ask you questions to like try to get you to pressure yourself with the way you see and interpret and think of the game. And the third option is, if you want to practice a little bit of lane mechanics, I can play you one-on-one and give you some hints and tips and show you how you can dominate your lane.
Okay.
And finally, let me see, there's one more thing I guess we could do. I mean, what we also can do is, I can narrate a game I play, but I think that's like that's probably the least priority right now.
Yeah.
It's better, it's most likely better we get to see you play. So,
yeah, I'm more hands-on.
whatever of those you feel like we should do that.
What do you recommend?
Oh, it's totally different from one person to the other what they want. I mean, it's your session, it's your time, so whatever
Fair
your
enough.
gut tells you you will get most out of, that's what we should do. I
I don't know. Shit.
Realistically, with the time we have, so we have 1.5 hours, right? Then realistically, you can, if you want to play a game, we can play a game and look at a replay, or we could look at 2 replays in depth, or we can look at 3 replays less in depth, but still to a reasonable extent.
Yeah, I like that first one. Play a game and look at a replay. I like that idea.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Let's do the replay first, because then you have something to go into the game with. How's that sound?
Okay, sounds good.
That's good. Okay, so basically all I need from you is an ID for the replay. So any replay of your choice, preferably one in which you play the role you want to improve on. So a game in which you play mid or safe lane, it doesn't matter if you win, it doesn't matter, what matters is that it's a hero you want to play. So we can just take your latest Tinker game.
Just look at my last game. I just played a Tinker last night. It was, I was the best player on the team though, so...
Oh, that's fine. Then you have a responsibility to win the game, right? That's how it is. Okay, what's the ID?
1303 765386.
Yes. Yep. Okay. All right, I'm going to download that. So the way we're going to do this is, I will be guiding. Okay, we're going to do a countdown. Basically, do you have the download? Do you have the replay downloaded already?
Yeah, ready to go.
Okay. Yeah. Just click watch replay and get in there.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is let's try to look at this replay decently in depth. So we can spend like half an hour on this and then round off with the game.
Okay.
So that means we can watch 30 minutes straight pretty much, which I think is the healthiest to do, or the best thing we can do. So what I want you to do is you go to strictly 0:00 game time, and then you pause the replay.
So 0 seconds into the game, like right when the horn sounds, you mean?
Yes.
Okay, that's
right
when
that sounds.
Yeah, sorry.
No problem.
Just making sure. My potato PC.
It's all good. Alright, in addition to that, when you've reached 000, in the top right corner you select the Radiant as Fog of War.
Right, okay. Good idea.
And then I would so I'd like to watch with free camera. We can also use player perspective, but the beneficial thing about using free camera is that I'm free to move around and look for other things you could do. If we watch player perspective, I can only see what you see, and then I'm more limited in the feedback I give you. But, however, I can also give you very specific feedback on exactly what you're doing, and with your choices what's good or not. I generally prefer free camera, but if you want player perspective, we can also do that.
Nope, free camera is cool.
Okay. Alright, are you at 000?
I am.
Alright, so I'll count down from 3, and then we unpause at 1 times speed, okay?
Yeah.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, go.
2, 1.
So this is a little weird, here we go. Alright, so I'm going to mainly be following you, so you're going to start mid. The starting build is fine, this is the very fast bottle build, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's the choice.
Yeah.
That's good.
I usually start with just the three branches. Sometimes I've been trying the null talisman.
Yeah, it depends on the matchup you're expecting. In this matchup, I think this is perfectly fine. And one thing you should keep in mind. All right, this is a possible first blood, I guess.
No, I didn't do enough damage.
Oh, I think you can. Yeah, it would have been close. I don't know. Regardless, this still. I want to quickly mention something about your use of laser in the lane. This is a very easy point of improvement that you can do. It seems like you're casting laser whenever it's ready. Try to wait until he has a possible last hit.
Right.
And laser him right before it. You're going to hit your lasers anyway. He's a melee hero. He has to try to go and get farm.
Yeah,
and whenever he tries your laser...
It stops his Tidebringer. Yeah.
Yeah, limit his farm very nicely, so that's good. Well, regardless, this is still fine. You got 5 CS out of 8 in the first wave, so that's okay. And I guess we're mainly focusing on farming efficiency and not so much at the laning, right? Because I can teach you some things about mid lane if you want, but if it's not the purpose of this, there's going to be a lot of things at once.
Right.
So I think we'll just go like peripherically through the laning stage and get to the mid game efficiency where with Tinker gets really interesting. As far as the mid lane goes, that could be something for another time, or we could also use the last time for that instead of playing a game if you want. Then I can show you some one-on-ones, and you can get something really beneficial for you in the mid lane through that if you want.
Right. Okay.
Oh wow, that was close.
Yeah, I got lucky. I saw him coming, so I dropped the march. That Tidebringer scared me, so I had to back off.
Oh, no, he might be dying. Oh, he has bottle. That's pretty close. Okay. Alright, I think just based on what I've seen so far, I'd probably how often do you play mid compared to safe lane?
Probably, I'd say 50-50. As much as I can.
Alright, because I actually think just from seeing this, the things I can tell you about mid lane, which will not take too long, could actually be really helpful for you.
Yep.
But we'll do that after. We'll do that in a separate game because I think it's going to be helpful for you to get hands-on basically with that. So we'll do that in a one-on-one.
Okay.
Or either that, or you in a 1-on-0 where I challenge you to do the things.
Yeah, I've been trying the last hit stuff a lot.
Yeah, as far as the last hits themselves go, the mechanics on that's up to you to practice.
Yeah,
it's not really
just
something I can teach you, right? That's just hero timings.
Experience, yeah.
But what you can learn is how to get yourself in an advantageous position in the lane and how you can exploit it to secure yourself that farm.
Right, like
because that's a different
aggroing.
kind of mechanic. Yeah, creep aggroing, how to hold the lane, how to take advantage of your lead in mid, how to control the runes, all this kind of stuff.
Right.
That's what I thought we could go over, which just from seeing the first 3 minutes, I think there's actually some pretty easy improvement for you there that you would find very helpful. So
Okay.
I would recommend that if you'd want to look at that.
Sounds good.
Alright, so what are we looking at now? 14 CS, he has got 7, so you're definitely winning this lane. You're bottle crowing, this is okay. I think this was not the time to bottle crow, because what's going to happen now is that you'll actually push the lane with March, and the rune is spawning now. But
Yeah.
maybe you can get away with it. If he or his team don't go and check the rune, then you'll still get it later. But this is a pretty greedy play, right?
Yeah,
He is gonna take it.
I got pretty, I just gave up on getting the runes. I don't know why. I can't remember why I got scared
Yeah,
for some reason.
You definitely shouldn't.
Yeah.
Not in this game. Anyway, we'll get to that. That's okay. So for now, we're still looking all right on farm. We'll just continue watching the lane for a couple of minutes, and then if this just continues in the same pattern, then there's not too much time to spend on this. Then we might as well go on into the earlier stages of the mid game. One thing I want to mention that you should think about when you're playing Tinker is if you're playing mid, you will notice when you march, right? The creep wave dies fairly quickly, and you push it out.
Yeah.
So you have the opportunity to learn yourself some timings where you push out the wave, and then
And
you go
use
and
that
stack
for
a
the
camp in
bottle.
the jungle.
Oh, okay. Stack the camp. That's
this-
a good idea.
Yeah, these timings you will learn by heart by just trying. It's very easy. You just try it in bot games, basically, or you can play 1 versus 0 or anything. You just need to try to get
Right.
a feel for, okay, this is how fast I push out the lane. I need to walk at X seconds to get here to stack, and X seconds to get here to stack.
Yeah.
Because what you actually could have done here is you could have had the same amount of farm, or let's say the same amount of farm and 2 CS less, but the big camp would have been stacked 2 or 3 times, and then that is
Exactly.
worth the same
Absolutely.
as 10 creeps in mid lane, or 15.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's definitely another easy step to improvement. You're still, for the bracket, this is still a decent amount of farm, having 23, but we're looking to push you on Tinker as much as possible today. I think that's... And of course, a lot of the advice I give you is applicable to every hero in mid. It's
Of
just,
course.
some of them is overarching advice. Okay, this is still alright. These boots of travel are going to come out not too late, I think. If this continues, if we don't get ganked soon.
I die once. I think I get him at 9 minutes.
Okay, that's still a fine timing.
I usually get him around the 8-minute mark. I had a really unfortunate gank on me, if I remember correctly.
Radiant's top tower is under siege. Radiant has
We'll see it when we get there.
fortified structures.
Okay, so that's the rune.
Radiant's
This is
top
good.
tower is under
And
attack.
back to mid and farming. Alright, so Rubik is visible in the ward. Gonna laser that. This is pretty aggressive from you. I think you're going to be fine now.
Yeah.
So if you paid attention, you would have seen him with your ward there.
I saw him, but he was level 3. I wasn't too scared.
Did you know where Kunko was at the same time?
That I don't remember. I did remember the Rubik being coming at me.
Okay. Yeah, this is still pretty good. You're still far ahead of everyone else on farm.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
This is my usual build I like to go to. I don't usually do the 4-4 build on Tinker. I just find it falls off very quickly.
Yeah, the March build-up is generally the best. The question is whether it's... in a lot of cases, I would say it's good to just keep the laser on level 1 and then max out missile. But sometimes that's down to personal preference.
Right.
I think the second point in laser hasn't really benefited you yet, but it might later on. The nice thing about the missiles is how good it is together with rearm. When you TP out to push a lane, you can just fire a couple of rockets as well and just harass.
Yeah, I just actually started switching it up to laser instead lately. R2 missiles, I just forgot to do it this time. If you watched my next points, we'll all go to missile.
Okay.
Dire's middle tower is under siege.
That's good. Get the rune again, this is nice, and yeah, we're gonna be looking like you said. Well, if you don't die in this wave, literally you have your boots travel. So
I thought I died. I guess I was wrong.
I can't. You're looking pretty good for now, at least.
Yeah, nobody's near. Everyone's bot. That Ricky becomes scary later on in the game, but we'll get there. That's where you can really help me. I think that's a lot of part of my problem is I rely on the template builds too much, and I don't adapt fast enough. And I just
that's
always
what I call
going on the rails.
I call that autopilot.
Yeah,
Call it,
exactly.
You just have a build you always go, and you don't really think of the alternatives or the consequences of going the build and why it's good most of the time, but sometimes not so much.
I'm trying to get away from it
you
more.
get a Soul Ring, right?
Of course.
Next.
Yeah, I do Soul Ring, and then I bought Hit Point Booster because I was stupid, because I meant to buy my Blink Dagger first, and I autopiloted on that too.
So you go Bloodstone first?
Yeah.
Or
Well, I got part of it, and then I realized I forgot my Blink Dagger. I'm still just working on the Bloodstone the build. I just usually would rush the Dagon E-Blade, but now I've been switching it up with Bloodstone.
yeah, it's a good choice. Dagon E-Blade isn't as good as it used to be. It's still good sometimes, though. It can still be really powerful, though.
I'm just gonna turn on the game sound here a bit. One sec. There we go.
Okay. Alright, so main things to draw from this so far. One of them we'll get more into later when we do the mid lane rundown. Main thing so far, try to see if you can maximize your farm by stacking at certain intervals. We'll look at it later. I just want to repeat it here so we're like keeping track of what exactly it is we need to look at.
Yeah.
Are you writing it down or?
Yeah, I am. I'm typing that right down.
Okay. Yeah. So stacking of camps while you're farming, better rune control, and that's one of the things we'll be looking at later. It's basically timing so far. I think for your bracket, your last hitting, your mechanics in lane are fine. Of course, that's something, like you said, you can improve upon, but that's going to come by itself with time. That's not really something I can teach you too much. So.
Exactly.
This is a good example of a time where you would probably want to march and then immediately go and stack, for example.
Right.
But yeah, I think I can probably show you a thing or two myself as well. We'll get there. Okay. So 46 CS right now. The thing about Tinker as a hero is when you build him up, it takes a bit of time and then he pays it back heavily later. So that's why the stacking part actually becomes extremely important, since you, compared to a lot of other farming carries, can't really do much right now, even though you have boots travel. Like, you can pour around and do a little bit of burst and you can drop a march to defend your towers, but you don't really have that amazing kill potential or anything yet.
Right. Yeah,
So.
he takes a long time to ramp up. I know that. People get mad at me at this level. It's like, why aren't you helping kill? I'm like, it's Tinker.
So this is pretty straightforward so far with how the game is going. You have a guy farming top, you have people around mid, so bottom lane is the easy choice.
Yeah.
Once again, this is where we're now hitting another point when it would be good to stack, since
Right.
someone could go and take bottom lane. You could stack the 2 camps in the jungle and just farm them. I'll try to show you some really good marching positions. That's actually something I want to mention now as well, to just plant a seed in your mind about it. Do you think about how you use March, like
Absolutely.
the angle you cast it in?
Yeah. I've been watching. I watched a few YouTubes on Purge saying how you send them sideways on the creep wave and everything.
Yeah, good, because that's actually more important than you might
Oh,
think.
absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm very aware of that.
Very good.
Sometimes I panic march depending on if I know I'm under pressure. I just want to get the march
well,
off.
Sometimes it also doesn't matter too much which angle you cast it in.
Right.
Sometimes it's just about getting it off. But
Like that last little disruptor harass there.
yeah.
This is actually a really good game because I had a Shadow Shaman starting to stack one of the hard camps for me. He actually started with stacking the Ancients, and then I was like, yeah, you can't do that anymore. Don't laugh when I actually try, because I thought maybe I could get the small Ancients, but I didn't realize you can't do any of them now.
No.
It's so dumb.
It's so balanced, right?
Oh, it made me so mad when they did that.
So yeah, it's good that he's stacking for you, but once again, ideally, first of all, you can't really count on this in pub games, and secondly,
Absolutely.
it's something you can definitely do yourself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay, or what? Okay, he's...
I got him, don't worry. I was like, did we
Like, you all
really
just
just
gave
let
up
him
this game. We
go?
can still see him.
We assumed he was dead. Yeah, see, there's Shadow Shaman stacking it right now for me.
Yeah.
Then I told him that he started.
Master could farm it later.
Yeah, he started stacking the big camp for me after he realized that it was really good.
Alright, can you explain a little bit of your thought process on your skill build right now? Now you got 3 in laser and 3 in missile instead of
Yeah.
2-4-4.
No, you're right. Just bad.
Did you just not think about it or misclick, or did you have an idea, or was there a moment where the laser would have been useful, or just random?
I believe that was probably, I'm going to say, just random.
Okay.
But yeah,
Well, it's not
definitely
the
max
end of it.
rockets. That's what
The
I...
important thing is you're not maxing rearm right now.
Yeah.
That's what really matters.
Yeah, exactly. I know never to do that.
Gonna get ravaged. This is a very good march. Very good.
Dyer's top tower.
And yeah, you're gonna have to run back.
Is this a good
Or
time?
actually, you don't have. Wait, yeah, you do have to. Soul Ring won't cut it.
Yeah. No, I do the Soul Ring actually here.
Yeah, but it's not in the. Well, oh yeah, you can just rearm, yeah. Yeah, of course that's enough.
That's a good time to go back, right? Like, I shouldn't have tried to... I should just walk back at that point?
Yeah, until your Soul Ring's ready. There was no timing to stack in the jungle, so you couldn't have done that at that point anyway.
Right,
so.
okay. Just checking.
Alright, yeah, that's good. Okay, so we're back in mid, we're gonna farm again. I mean, so far so good for how this game is going. There's not too much to talk about, apart from the stacking efficiency that we'll get to later.
Right.
Of course, there's a lot of small things where you could have, like, got a couple of last hits extra, where you could have harassed your lane opponent a little bit more. I'll talk to you about that once again with the one-on-one thing.
Yeah.
When we do that afterwards. But for now, we're keeping up the pace decently. This whole Bloodstone build is one I personally have never used, but I see it's being very popular right now, so...
Mm-hmm. I was watching Eternal Envy do it, but like I said, I forgot my Blink Dagger. Right after I bought the hit point booster,
Yeah.
it's like, fuck.
Yeah, you definitely need the Blink Dagger first.
Oh, yeah.
And that's... You were talking about itemizing against Ricky. Blink Dagger is actually your best item.
Oh, yeah, because
And-
then he can't gank me, I just blink into the jungle, or into the trees.
Exactly. Are you familiar with the good blinking spots? Because else I can try to show you that. At least most of them I know. Tinker's one of my not so much played heroes, but...
I'm not, I just usually just blink into the jungle. I just shift Q it up and get out
there's
of there.
like these... there's these I don't know what to call them. There's like these secret spots where you actually get completely surrounded by trees. So there's no path in there apart from cutting down trees.
Right.
And those are really important to know because if you blink anywhere else, you're at risk of getting caught by something. It increases your. It allows you to play in ways on the map that you might have never played before. Like where it's just. Say in this game, for example, yes, there's a little bit of risk. You can, for example, you can get caught by a torrent, or you can get maybe clipped by a ravage or something, and then they ravage you in the fog, and then what are they going to do? They can't kill you after that anyway because they can't see you. But yeah, they are really good to know. This is a decent Tinker game because they don't have anyone who is good at catching you off, like for example Storm Spirit. Until you have Blink, Ricky is pretty good.
If I see a Storm Spirit or anything, I don't even pick them. I just know better.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Anyone like Spirit Breaker, Queen of Pain, I typically don't pick them.
Spirit Breaker is actually not as bad as you would think either.
Yeah, I've played against him before.
That's because of Blink. That's your tool. So right now Ricky is really good against you because you don't have Blink. But Spirit Breaker is the same concept where he needs to see you and then he can charge you. But if you shift Q Blink when you port out, he will never be able to target you.
Yeah.
You'll actually, the beautiful thing if you play a very good split pushing Tinker is that you can play 10 minutes while you're not visible on the map and you out-farm people. So yeah, I'll get to show you that as well. We need to try to remember everything together so I don't forget to cover one of the things I wanted to.
Yeah, if you ever watch my player perspective, you'll see I'm never looking at home. I'm always looking on the map. I'm trying to be aware.
Yeah, that's what it should be. That's good.
I've learned a few things. I just recently learned to start just spamming the crap out of my soul ring. I didn't use it enough before. I'm doing like the hit point booster, or the point booster, putting in the stash to bottle up that base type thing.
Yeah, it's also faster with soul ring if you do that. If you drop your on items first. It's very
right. I forgot about that because I've been doing that with techies. Right.
This is a really good moment for you to get a good march off, I think. Good defensive march here. That Disruptor's very dead. A little bit more harassment. Rocket. You get the second kill probably. Very nice.
I think he gets away. Oh no.
Blink.
Yeah. Yeah, the bastard got away.
Oh, he's still dead to Rocket.
Oh yeah, there it is. That's right. I did get the rocket off.
Right. That was a little close, but I don't really think that was on you. Okay, so what are we thinking right now? So the top lane is pushing out. You can't really benefit much more from that, and you're going to push bottom, exactly like pushing. Alright, here we go. This is one of the good spots that you're blinked into now.
Yeah.
I do believe this is inaccessible.
I typically just go to the wall and look for whatever looks like trees will completely encompass me.
Yeah, you'll get a hang of it. You'll get the hang of it pretty quick when you... If you start focusing on it, it becomes automated at one point where you just know where to shift click at.
Right. Yeah, it takes decision making at the current moment. This game I also learned that to stop going back to base so much, I'll go from lane to lane. I used to just go lane back home, but again I was like I'm not being efficient enough. So I've been really trying to improve my Tinker.
Yeah, looks pretty good. If you didn't tell me what bracket this was and I just saw how you were playing, I would think this is like 4K-ish, probably. That would be my guess.
Ah.
So that's a pretty good sign. Of course, if this is the only hero you're that competent or comfortable on, that kind of diminishes it a bit, because then what do you do if it's a bad Tinker game, right?
Yeah.
This is pretty good so far.
Well, like I said, I feel like I'm much better than what my MMR shows. I play a pretty good Troll. There's a lot of work I'd like to do on Troll, but he's kind of the flavor of the month hero, so I don't like to focus on him too much before he gets nerfed up the ass.
That might be coming, I guess. Okay. Alright, so now I guess you're gonna TP bottom. Yep. And you're gonna make that too. This is not the spot. We'll There's a
I
soft
couldn't
spot,
blink
like
the other
sort of
way
blink.
because of where the creep was. I didn't think I had the range. That was my thought
The
process
direction
there.
you blinked in was fine though, but there is actually a hole in the trees there if you look at it. The direction you blinked, if you would have blinked shorter, there's like a soft spot within
Yeah,
there.
right in there.
So,
Okay.
it could be useful for you to either just check how players like Koikva and Balda and other good Tinker players play. There's probably some competitive replays available. Team Tinker are called that for a reason. They named themselves that because they had really good Tinker players when they formed.
Right.
I would recommend Koikva as your go-to player if you can find some of his games.
Koikva?
He is
Okay.
exceptionally good. Yeah, he is really good. You will see him using the TP spots effectively and being very fast at farming.
Right.
The main finger I can still put on your play. So we've talked a lot about the stacking, and that's one thing. But you can I still think you can get a little bit faster at the way you traverse the map, where it's like, for example, right now you're standing still for a second or two, just evaluating the situation. Once things get more automated, ideally you don't stand still for a single second without doing anything. Like,
Right.
you go there, you cast your march, you cast your missile, rearm missile, march, instant TP, next lane.
Right.
Think of it like this: because you're playing Tinker, you can push out all the lanes all the time. So every single second is really valuable to you, since that's a second of pressure. Like all the time, the faster you are, the more pressure the enemy is under constantly. They
Right.
have to deal with what you're doing. Now, this is the first time you're going to start farming the jungle here. I think these marches are pretty well placed. This looks, from what I know, this is pretty much the perfect position to farm these two camps. Now you're standing still for a bit, again. A little bit delay. I guess you were looking around the map.
I was watching the team fight, I think.
Yeah. And that's basically a waste of time unless you can help them. So if
Fair
you're looking
enough.
for that, you should be looking for it while you were back in base and rearming. So that if you can adapt to what you see, that's good. But else, ideally, I mean, you just rearm, you march again, you clear out these camps, you TP back to base, and then you start looking. Or, while you're rearming and farming the jungle, you look mid to see, okay, can I do anything? But you don't forget to play your hero meanwhile.
Right. Okay.
It's a lot of things to do at once. Like, the reason I said this is ambitious is Tinker is a really fucking difficult hero.
I know. I love him though. He's so fun because he's so mobile and he does so much like just burst damage. It's just people don't expect him. Especially at this bracket, I just find just gets unstoppable.
Yeah. Your farm is okay.
Yeah.
It's good for your bracket, right? This is where, if you look at top Tinker players with the laning start you had, you would probably see them have 30 to 40 CS more than you at this point, maybe even 50 if they have a really good game.
Yeah.
And that is 100% efficiency and nothing else. It's just that they're faster, they stack more, and they have mastered the hero. And I'm not going to ask that of you, but the more you start thinking about it, if you just, let's say, if you, in your next Tinker game, you get 5 more CS at this point by just being that little bit more effective, and the next time it's 5 more, and then it's 5 more, and then over the course of time, you will work it into your automated rotation that you go to the jungle and get that done, because seeing you farming those stacks there were great. Then the question is just, why didn't you do it 10 minutes ago?
Yeah. Because I had it stacked for me and I didn't think of it myself. I actually played with trying to learn the timing, and then I gave up. To be honest, I was in a private game, and I started trying to stack that one hard camp. I think I just remember you saying how impossible it is to stack that top one there in your stream on Friday.
Difficult. It is doable. It is doable. It's a little tricky.
It's
but
at
the bad thing about the camp.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you want to pull it at about 55.
Yeah,
the problem
I
with
just
that
gotta
camp
say
is
that.
It spawns mud golems.
Yeah.
And that sucks ass for you. So that's not really...
Right.
That's not the most useful camp. It's the hard camp that's really useful. However, even in addition to that, we're talking a lot about stacking. But you actually don't even necessarily need to stack. There's other things you can do. So, if you look at where you are right now on the map and where the map is, what I would do right now, if you guys aren't pushing any further, is I would port bottom on the wave that's approaching right now.
And then do that 3 stack. Yeah, I know the spot.
Exactly. Farm the lane bottom. There's another wave of theirs coming in right now, so there's a pretty good wave to farm. I'm assuming you will port down there now after refilling, because you'll see, okay, this is a pretty big amount of farm that's coming in. You farm that, you run into the jungle, you drop a double or triple march, farm all those 3 camps back to base. It's extremely time efficient. Oh, that port isn't going to happen. We're going to rearm that. And then, yeah, there we go. Okay. So see, this is where you would instantly just blink, march, rearm, You should rearm already. This is a nonsensical movement. You're running in circles for seconds. Does nothing. And this is where you don't port back. Okay.
Yeah.
This is where you're like, okay, you ported top. Fair enough. In this situation, I can agree with that. You want to push out the top lane too. That's fine. So now you're porting back space. Still, now the opportunity is still there. You rearm. You could port to bottom now. Claim that wave. Run into the triangle area and just farm with triple march. Back to base again, rearm. Try to keep that rotation going so you clear the jungle every single minute. That's the maximum efficiency you can do relative to your time investment. Here we're standing still a little again. I guess you're looking for opportunities. While this is happening, you need to be doing stuff. This is...
Fair enough. Shift Q it up and do it, right?
Wasted 5 or 6 seconds there. Rearm, instant soul ring, drop the march, and once again we can go into the jungle. Now we're standing still again. This is slightly risky as well with your positioning. We talked about the tree line. You're starting to play a little bit sloppy. I think it's just because you feel like you're ahead and you're on. But if you want to do your absolute best, you always play the best way in the moment. And the best way in the moment is still to play it safe. Accordingly. Rubik stole rearm. Oh no. Yeah. So now it looks like you're going for the Dagon. I like that choice a lot.
I did actually change my build. I would usually do the Bloodstone Shiva, but I realized they're very squishy, so I just went for the Dagon.
Yep, Dagon's good.
Started feeling
Shiva's
our
good
lead.
too. Yeah.
I played one game with the Bloodstone Shiva, and I liked it. It was actually really nice for the pushing. It's crazy fast to clear a wave.
It's just another efficiency item, right? And it makes you, when it comes to team fights, the extra 15 armor really does make a huge difference for you. So it can be a very nice choice. But it's good that you're thinking about it situationally, that in this game you didn't go for your standard build because you felt like something else was more useful. Whether you're right or wrong, challenging yourself to think constructively in the individual game is how you become a better player.
It's very much in the back of my head just to get off of autopilot.
Yeah. That's very good. Alright, now you might get caught in mid. Let's see what you do. Alright, so this blink is not ideal once again. This is, of course,
that's
out of
why
vision.
I re-blinked.
There's a way in there. Yeah. Alright, standing still a little bit. March. You should laser him instantly so he can't hit you.
Right. I think I was in the smoke cloud, that's why I couldn't...
Oh, you ran out and cast March.
Oh, good point.
So that cast should have been a laser. It's just getting your priority straight. Now, if this Ricky is really good, he will defusel himself and keep hitting you. But that's... First of all, that's something that probably won't happen in your bracket, and secondly, it's something that probably won't happen in the 5k bracket either, so don't worry about it. That's a pretty advanced play. I think you can purge laser, I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
But in the heat of the moment, that's something very few players will think about. He will probably try to defusel you so he can stay on top of you, and he'll keep missing, and you will rearm and you'll blink.
Yeah, he did defusel me. That much I remembered, because I was like, why am I so slow?
That was actually an avoidable death, so that's definitely something that you could have done better in that moment.
Usually I noticed spam the laser. I didn't think about Ricky.
Look at efficiency here again. We're standing in an empty lane. There's a creep camp right to the right of you. You could have just marched that before you TP'd out, so you just lost 150 golden experience here where you could have instantly... I know I'm being a little bit rough.
Oh, no, not at all.
That's what the hero is.
No, I'm typing in caps lock on my notes, efficiency in big letters.
Yeah, that's really all it's about.
Yeah.
So to give you an idea of what your farm could be right now, like a top Tinker player now has 250 CS probably.
Absolutely. No, I know that.
And you are still clearly above what I would have expected out of a 2700 game. But we're still like sky's the limit for you, right? So we're trying to push you because it looks like you're, at least on this hero, if you want to raise your MMR, this seems like a shortcut for you to get higher because you're better on this hero than your number says. So if we keep improving that, then every single time you can pick a Tinker, you can feel like you can win the game.
Right.
Just by individual performance. Because it's a very good hero to carry games with alone as well.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't say snowball, but he gets fat, big, and quick.
Oh, he really does snowball too. You're gonna go in laser. A little bit too much movement here. I think you wasted your time a little bit there. I think you might have had blink ready, or maybe you didn't actually, but you walked back for a second and a half before you rearmed, and there might have been a faster play there.
Right.
It's probably something in the back of your mind because you're just used to like playing Dota in general.
I'm defensive. I'm a very defensive player.
And some of that just carries over into your play where you're just thinking, alright, I need to go back, and then, oh wait, I'm actually Tinker, so I don't need to go back in the same way as I do in every single other hero in Dota in that moment.
Right. I think I die here, yeah. Oh no, I bloodstoned, I knew I was dead.
That's a fine suicide, there's nothing to do then. Ideally you didn't TP him, actually.
Yeah.
That would have been the play. You traded your life for Kunkka, which is not worth it since you're ahead and you lose Bloodstone.
Yeah.
But all in all, still okay. Good. Let's have a look at the map right now. So you guys have decent aggressive vision. The main thing I would like to see a little bit more out of you in this game that you haven't really displayed yet is farming on the enemy side of the map.
Right.
Because when you get ahead and you have that blink dagger, your opportunities to blink into the blind spots in the tree line are global. That's not locked to your own side of the map.
Absolutely.
So if you look at top right now where the creep wave is, this is where Koikva would TP right now, I think. He would port up here, he would blink into a blind spot in the trees, he would march twice, then if he feels comfortable, he would take 1 or 2 camps in their jungle, because then they can't farm them themselves, but he will only do it if he has the info he needs on the map. So if he sees enemy heroes elsewhere, and feels like he can go for it, that's the best farm he can get.
Right.
Think of it like this. If you farm the enemy jungle, you get the farm and they don't.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
different from when you're farming your own jungle, where you get the farm and nobody doesn't. This is very good. More marches. Rearm. You're standing still. A little bit of idle time again. You're thinking a bit too much. You're still gonna get the kill. There's a march. This is where you're soul ring. That's good. That's good. So it seemed like it's like how to explain it. There was like a second or two there in that fight where you felt like you lost your way. It's like you got overwhelmed with everything you needed to do, and you just needed to calm down for a second and think.
Sometimes I'm just slow assessing the situation and going, should I get the fuck out, or
Yeah.
I just get worried, right?
So now you're marching a hell of a lot.
I just gotta say that was a lot of marches. I noticed that.
This is a good TP. More of this, right? This is the kind of stuff I'm looking for, where you go to the jungle. The first blink spot you chose is not a safe spot. The one you ended on is, and there's another one above it, I think, where there's like you can see there's a little hole inside the trees to the top left of where you blinked originally.
Yeah.
That's like 800 range to the right of the tower.
Right.
There's a spot right there.
Okay.
Very good. So now you're farming mid. You're standing in the lane. To whatever extent possible, avoid standing in lane. In mid lane, it's of course difficult to march there because there's like no blind spot, right?
Right.
But you just march and you blink instantly. Like right now I would just march and blink. There we go. That's what you needed to do the first time as well. It's the safest play, it keeps you out of harm's way and you still get the farm. There we go. Now that is definitely done for. And you're going to port back. That's okay. Now I'm hoping you port top lane and then into blind spot and farm that top wave and push that. And ideally after that you take 2 camps in their jungle. Looks like another situation has risen here. Try to help. That's a good laser. That's going to save Bloodseeker probably. And you're going to rearm. Oh, you got hit by that.
I got wrecked on my rearm attempts. Look at this.
Yeah,
that made me so grumpy.
You can still kill.
Yeah, he's dead. Overkill. That could have been a Dagon on Tide Hunter instead.
Laser, you're panicking.
Dick.
Right. Yeah, you panicked way too hard there. He was actually a kill. He might die anyway, but you could have lived for sure. It actually looks like he's going to live. Okay, he's just going to run into that. Good job. So yeah, that's again keeping your composure when it gets hot is one of the difficult things about Tinker that when I play it I struggle with too because I don't have enough experience on it.
Yeah.
So when things get really difficult like that, the best players keep their cool, and that takes practice.
Yeah.
There was another thing I realized I wanted to tell you. So, Blink is great on Tinker. In most cases, I would say it's like in every game item almost. It's one of, I generally say everything is situational, but that item is so extremely good on Tinker that I'd say 1 out of 1,000 games should you not get it.
And then Force Staff is what you're going to say?
Yes, because you're against Ricky. It's a way for you to escape the smoke cloud and reset.
Right.
Because until he has an Abyssal Blade or a Basher, it's actually very easy for you to just kite him. What you're going to do is he's going to smoke screen you, you force step out, you laser him, and you rearm, and he can't do anything about it. He can blink strike you, he does the blink strike damage, but can't attack.
Right.
And then you can just, if he does that, you can just laser him again, because you just rearmed. And you keep doing it, and he's going to lose.
Yeah.
And if he backs out, perfect. You're in charge. You can do what you want. You can fight him back. You can TP somewhere else and farm. So with that in mind, Force Staff might have been a better choice this game, even as a first item before Bloodstone, or maybe before Dagon.
Right. My thought was get to the Ghost Scepter, and then I could just immune myself. That was my thinking press. Right. Exactly. But
so that still doesn't keep you safe from him. That item doesn't counter him.
Right. That was my thought process. Not the right one, but... I think I almost get my E-Blade here, then I get
A
scary.
little bit of standing still again. Have a look at this. This is...
Yeah.
10 seconds wasted right here.
Yeah.
But we've already covered that, and of course, I mean, I can keep pointing it out, but it's the same replay, so you haven't had a chance to improve, right?
Right.
You're still making that same mistake you did 5 minutes ago. How dare you?
Sorry. I'll try to get better.
This is another blink this is okay, but you're actually in the vision of the creeps, so...
Right.
But you were safe there regardless. But still, try to force yourself to... This is something that's going to reward you in the end, even though you're like, well, in 99 out of 100 cases I don't get caught. But then it sucks in the hundredth that you get caught and you're like, that was totally unnecessary to even risk.
Right.
So why did I do it? So try to force yourself to always look for the shift Q blink before you port, so you know exactly where you're going to be safe. And if you're worried about them jumping you, you just instantly after your first march, you rearm, you reblink like you've done a couple of times.
Right.
That can also be done in the safe spots, of course. There are some places where there are like 2 or 3 safe spots close to each other, and then you just alternate between them so you get unpredictable and hard to catch.
Right.
Alright, you're still looking good. That's TP. Now you have your E-Blade. There we go. And you can see, the crazy thing is, you're really far ahead on farm, right? Because you're playing better than your bracket is. This can be so much better still. With the way you're playing the game, I still think this is actually not that big of a deal for you to get to that spot.
Right.
I don't think it's going to take you that long. So this 217 in a week is going to be 250. And in 2 weeks, maybe it's 300.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, oh shit, instead of having a Dagon right now, you have a Dagon 5.
Yeah.
And then, well, what's the enemy team going to do?
Yeah.
So what's very, very important is that you get comfortable with, when you get a lead in the start, with using it correctly and staying ahead. And that's another thing about the efficiency, is it's all great that you get a good start, but if you don't know how to convert it into a win by staying ahead and finding the right ganks, it actually doesn't matter. And then it would have been better for someone else to have it if you could do that. So that needs to be you. This is pretty good. You're pushing multiple times. Once again, this is a very risky position to be in. Meanwhile, your team is diving the base. I don't know what's going on.
That's why I wasn't too afraid of where I was at that time. I'll TP back and keep pushing the tower because I know they're all at the bunker right now.
There were 2 options there. You could have probably TP'd to the bottom lane, and you might have won the game there. So
that's true.
I'm not sure. I didn't get to see the fight, but it looked like they weren't too far off killing multiple targets. So you could have probably made a big difference. But
again, I play defensive, so I think get objectives, get the tower.
Oh, they got the racks.
Yeah. No, I know. I agree with you now.
That's a pretty good objective, I would say. It's Dagon 3. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, now you're level 25. Everyone else in the game is lower than you. Only Ricky is close. He's level 24. The next is 22 on Kunkka, and then your entire team is 20 or lower. So, and the only reason they're that high level is that they team wiped you in the base. Also, I think Ricky would have been 22 right now. So that's pretty good. Alright, this is a pretty risky play. You gave away your position. Can't kill him. Oh, wait, yeah, you have Bloodseeker. Nice. Right. There's a little bit of a better blink there. I think you could have blinked into the trees and sniped him there instead of into the middle of the lane.
Right.
Since, again, eliminate counterplay potential as much as you can.
Yeah, because Ricky just showed up. I think he defused me, and I was like, oh, that was close.
And This is where you keep your composure and just kill the tide, I think.
There's a
Or not.
mana.
Yeah. Do you know why you missed that kill?
No, I was watching it, sorry.
You cast Heat-Seeking Missile.
Instead of Dagon E-Blade. Or E-Blade again. Or,
I think you cast Heat-Seeking Missile twice, and that was the mana you were missing in the end for another E-Blade Dagon.
right.
And at the same time, Tide is also a tricky hero to kill for you, because Kraken
He's-
Shell procs every 600, so what
Exactly.
you want to do is you want your E-Blade to deal damage, but not break the threshold, so you can get the full damage Dagon. And that's just, you know, you can't really time that. At least not on the first one. Then you need to know when it procs. And even when it procs, you're not sure how much you were above the threshold, so when it procs again. Alright, goodbye, Rubik. Disruptor, I mean.
Yeah, they were one-shots at this point. It was quite fun.
Yeah. Always so easy when you get to this point.
Yeah, I love it. This is my favorite. This is why I love Tinker right here. That level 5 Dagon is just so fun.
Alright, so this is a way too passive stance for you right here. You guys are very far ahead in the fight. Your team is forcing them to cast abilities. I think at this point you could have Dagon E-Blade twice, probably. There's a free kill on Rubik right now, or on the Ricky if you want. Gonna rearm here, you're gonna take the Torrent. This is probably your worst played fight in the game, I think.
Yeah.
You stood far back, you have all the potential in the world to go and one-shot the Rubik, so he's out of the fight and just rearm.
Right.
But instead you play it a little bit too passively, and ultimately you get hit by a Torrent, and they get to beat you there, so...
That was a good boat.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. I actually like Kunkka too. I've been playing him more. He's fun. Very
Oh, you like
squishy.
playing Kunkka too?
Oh yeah.
He's a nice hero.
Especially with Rapier. Oh my god, it's so fun.
You know where he has his name from, right?
No.
Kunkka is one of the... He designed, I think, 10 or 15 loading screens in a row in Dota 1 for Ice Frog.
Oh nice.
Kunkka is basically the name of a content creator in the game, and he was honored by having the pirate named after him.
Nice.
In Dota 1, this hero is called Admiral Proudmoore, and then his secondary name is Kunkka, the Admiral, I think. And Kunkka actually makes items in Dota 2 and loading screens as well. He did the... Did you watch our Captain's Draft tournament by chance?
Yeah, I did watch a good amount of it.
Yeah. He was part of making the items for the second edition
Nice.
of the Juggernaut set. He did the loading screen and the concepting of the hero. He is exceptionally good. He's one of the best, one of the most talented people in the workshop. He has so many years of experience as a designer. So, I mean, he made loading screens for Dota 1 like 10 years ago, and that's when he was like 20. He's 30 years old now, 30 something. So he has a lot of experience.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a fun fact. If you like Kunkka, you should know why he's named this.
No, I do.
He's a cool guy too. Got to meet him at TI4, talk to him there. So it's very nice. I think that was actually the first time he was in the States as well. So, so the reason I'm not talking too much about the game anymore is that this is pretty much over.
Oh yeah.
I think regardless of what happens now, we can look at how you played the last couple of team fights, but the absolutely most important part of the game is now over. You're probably gonna die here if Ricky plays it well.
No, lots of mech. Oh yeah, no, I do that. That's right.
He's gonna trade himself, so.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was sitting there going, "Yep, that was a good trade. That's worth it." Oh, the boat. That was a good boat. Ish.
I like how Tusk just abandons him in a fight you guys are winning.
Yeah.
And Shadow Shaman just solos them.
Welcome to 2.5 MMR. God, it's painful. You've been abandoned so many times, it's not even funny.
Alright, I think we're good for this replay, if that's cool with you. We
Absolutely.
don't need to spend more time on it. Let's spend the time on something more meaningful.
Yeah, I think it's
Okay,
almost
so
over.
I wanna show you some things in one-on-one
Okay.
that you can maybe use, and some of it might seem intuitive to you, and you might know it already, but it's still you need to just once again it needs to be part of your rotation and your intuition when you play. So the password is Scott, all lowercase, so just your first name. I think for the purpose of this first game, I'll probably just show it 1 on 0 for you. You just watch.
Okay.
I mean, you can play on the other side, but then you can't see it, so that kind of defeats the purpose a bit.
Alright, so what do? I just go to our broadcaster channel? I haven't done this before.
Yeah, or just click coach on me.
Okay.
Coach this team. That should be fine. Okay. Alright, so I'll just pick Tinker. And now we're gonna imagine that we'll kind of discover the timings together, because this is something like I said, I don't have too much experience with, but I'll still try to show you some of the key concepts here of what's important when you're playing the mid lane, that you can use the majority of what I show you now, you can use in every single matchup in mid.
Right.
So in those games where you don't pick Tinker and you feel like, wow, Tinker's shit here, then, well, the good news is it works for everyone. Okay, so we'll just do your starting items now. I forgot to put cheats on, so I'm sorry about that. So you're gonna have to wait a minute for them
No
to
problem.
spawn.
Actually, while that's going, let me just run to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
All right, I'll
2
just
secs.
pause.
Okay.
Yep.
I will be long.
Battle will commence in 30 seconds.
Alright. Almost back. Okay.
Right, you ready?
Yeah. Twitch just died, what? One of my
As long as
viewers
you can see
is...
in the game.
Yeah, no, one of my viewers is saying it died. I think it's probably just him.
Okay.
Being non-partnered, you can't throttle your bit rate or anything. It's terrible.
Yeah, you can't really do the same stuff then.
All
Alright, so the first step is, of course, getting a good block, right?
Yeah.
And there's a couple of ways of doing this. One of them, my preferred way is letting the range creep through. I
Right.
actually overblocked this. I'll talk to you a bit about that in a moment.
Yeah.
So what can happen is, if your opponent doesn't block at all, you can end up blocking too much, and then the creep wave will get into the tower range, like this.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit unfortunate because you don't want that to happen. Okay. Now, I'm going to be absolutely awful in games like this because I've never played Zero. So
Tinker's terrible attack animation too.
it's not that bad, actually. Alright, so what I'll be talking to you about now, unfortunately I can't showcase it yet, but now I'll get in a position where I can. So let's just imagine I play against someone, okay? And his main interest right now is to get farm. So I'll deny when I can, and else I will secure my own farm, of course.
Right. I remember you yelling at yourself a lot during your all-hero challenge, or your dual lane challenge.
Yeah.
Every time you yell at
I'm
yourself.
already getting the hang of it now.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's
So
funny
for the
when you get
purpose
mad.
That's good to hear. So for the purpose of this, I'll play a little different than I would normally, because I want to show you what's going to happen now. So here's the idea. Alright, now I have the creeps on my side, right?
Yeah.
Now, instead of running them into the tower, what I want to do is I want to run them a little bit in circles. This is going to cost me a little bit of health,
Right.
but it's going to pay for itself. So what's happening now is that I have full control of the lane. It's on my cliff, or this one creep that decided to go for a little walk. So now I'm here, right?
Right.
This is the ideal position for me to be on. This is your goal as mid laner, is to stand here as much as possible. It makes you harder to gank. It means if the enemy tries to go and trade hits with you, he's tanking your creep wave, but you're not tanking his.
Right.
And you also have the uphill advantage in case it's a ranged versus ranged matchup, so they can miss their attacks.
Right.
So there's a lot of benefit in being uphill. Now, what you want to do is, you see I'm holding this equilibrium right now. You want to be here all the time, apart from one situation. When do you think that is?
Probably when you're going for the rune.
That's right. So let's just imagine the rune is about to spawn.
Yeah.
Right?
That's when
Now,
you
the next-
march.
Yes, the next creep waves are going to come in. So now we're going to march. And this creep wave would have met mine in the middle at about 245, but because I'm pushing a little bit here, this is not realistic because
Yeah.
of how it turned out, right?
Exactly.
I'm playing 1 and 0, so it's a little bit hard to get it realistic. But you'll see now, this would have, let's imagine this was 152. The current situation is 158, okay?
Yeah.
I have 4 creeps in the lane. He has 0.
Yeah.
This rune is mine, and it is for a couple of reasons. Reason 1, he wants and needs the experience and gold at his tower. If he goes for the rune and the creeps don't follow him, he loses a hell of a lot.
Right.
If he goes for the rune together with me and the creeps chase him, I will fight him. I'll be like, come at me. I have 4 creeps with me. You want to fight? And then you keep hitting him. You just keep hitting him until he has to run away.
Right.
Then the situation is the same as before, except he's just taken 250 damage for no reason. So that's even worse. And the last thing he can do is that he can gamble for the other rune, which would mean he would run all the way to the bottom rune with creeps chasing him. That means your supports can go and intercept him. They might have already taken the rune. He will have to run his creeps all the way back to the tower, and then suddenly he's going to have a weird creep situation with many creeps around his tower at an awkward time, right?
Right.
Okay.
And
so
Tinker's
now
one of
we'll
those.
imagine.
Sorry, go ahead.
Now we'll imagine I just got the 2-minute rune, right, and I bottled it. I'm
Right.
playing without a courier. I didn't buy it, so
Yeah.
I can't really showcase you exactly what I have. But so what's going to happen now is, all right, I got the rune. Now I'm going to quickly run back and block my wave a little bit, as much as I can here, so that I'm once again in an advantageous position. I didn't get far enough. If I had boots, I might have made that.
Right.
But I'm still going to be looking pretty good. So this is what we're going to do this time. Now let's imagine it's currently 2:30 instead of 3:30. Okay.
Yeah.
Then what I want to do is I want to wait until the waves clash in a moment. Here. And now we're going to march.
Right.
This is going to cost you a little bit of experience, but it's going to pay for itself later on. We're still getting the gold. The enemy is still being pressured quite a bit. If I had boots now, I would be hitting the creeps here now.
Right.
Now, unfortunately, I don't, so this takes longer. And this stack is going to be missed by about a second. But you can imagine this timing was right if I had my boots bottle.
So that was the
Alternatively,
30-second mark you said?
No, it was about... You want to march at about 43, because the creeps are going to clash
Okay.
at 45. So the travel time, the march starts away from the wave, right? So from when I cast it to when it starts hitting the creeps, you want to do that 2 seconds before the waves clash.
Right.
And then right after that, you want to go and stack the jungle. If you can make the big camp, you do that. If you can't, you make the small camp. I'll show you how to stack that, how the timing on stacking that. It's the camp in the game I'm worst at stacking, so I might fuck it up, but as everything else, it's just a thing of practice.
Yeah, I know the medium camp is 55. I've been getting better at stacking that one.
Yeah. Now we're at 4:45. The creeps are going to meet here. I'm going to march. And now the top rune is mine, right? It's going to be the same situation as before. This was a little bit off, but you get the idea.
Right.
Right, we got a banner. How useless. Okay, so if you look at the raw gold right now, if I had Boots Bottle, I would currently be, let's say, what would I be? 500. Let's see, no, that would be.
DB,
I'd be about
300
1,000
short
away
of the ball, yeah.
I'd be 1,000 short for Boots to travel right now.
Oh, would you? Okay.
That means.
Oh yeah, right.
I might
450 for the boots. Yeah.
Your bottom is being
So now we're going to do the same thing again. Now we'll see if we can time it a little bit better. Once again, remember we don't have boots, so... Now the creeps are going to meet here. March. I think I'm too late. So this time we're like, oh shit, we missed our timing for the big camp. So we're going to do the next best thing, and that is to stack this one. Now we're going to pull that at about 5:55. We're going to start the attack.
Yeah.
And the centaurs move faster than other creeps, so they're easily. This is the easiest camp to stack because they run faster. The wolves are easy too. The hardest are the mud golems. I think this camp is impossible to stack more than once, because now the creeps are going to block each other, and when they finally get far enough out, the first ones are running back again.
Okay.
So this is a single stack. Now I got lucky with the creeps, so what I'm going to do now is I will manually farm this lane with attacks. And then somewhere around this, of course, as you can imagine, I could have got the rune if I wanted. And then we're going to go here. And this is where you know the marching point. So let's say if I completed the first stack correctly right now, this is my boots of travel, minute 7.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because now I'm going to get 2 large camps and 2 small camps with this march. Or maybe I'll need 2 marches, but I can also compensate for it by, you see, just attacking a little bit here and there. I might have to march twice, but remember I don't even have my bottle right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I had Boots Bottle now, I actually have Boots of Travel. Let me check. I have Buying Boots of Travel now, and I have Gold for Bottle in 30 seconds. So this is 7-minute bots. This was with missed last hits in the middle lane. This was with a missed stack or 2.
Yeah.
And it was with 1 bounty rune, which is very realistic that you get. So it's all about the timing. Of course, this is way easier than if I'm playing against a player, so it's not representative, because then I'll be challenged more in the CS. But the funny thing is, when you're playing Tinker, the concept is pretty much the same.
Exactly.
You laser in the start to prevent him from CSing, and after that, March gets the majority of the job done. If you're against a melee hero, he can't really deny against you, because he's gonna take so much damage with every deny that it's a bad trade.
Mm-hmm.
So he can't do that. Okay, so that's that thing. Now, let's go back to space. Now I have some gold, that's good. I'll buy Soul Ring, that's more efficient than Bottle. I haven't skilled Realm, fuck. That's a problem.
I usually get it at level 8, too.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I should also. Yeah, realistically you'll be level 8 when you get your bots and Soul Ring.
Okay.
So that's fine. I think most players skill it at level 8. Now we're just gonna pour out here. Alright, that's the wrong march angle. Just casting it like that for no reason. And okay, now we see when we have boots travel, we can traverse fast. I just want to make sure you know this spot well enough of where to march. I'm pretty sure I know exactly where you do it.
Yeah.
So the idea is obviously that you hit all 3 camps.
It's right here. This one.
Since they're going in a triangle, I'm pretty sure you stand like this in the diagonal, and then you march in the diagonal.
Oh, in diagonal? Okay. I've always gone just straight down.
So. If you go, let me think.
You might not catch this. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think you do, but...
No, if you go straight down.
If you march it straight down, then this camp will block for this one. If you march it diagonal, this camp will block for this one. But only for a very short amount of time, because then these will pull down. And then it will get passed into there. Whereas if you march straight down, these will run in this path first. So it will take long before these get hit. So I do think this is the ideal way of doing it. So you see in the start, these get hit now?
Yeah.
Okay, I actually cast it too far out. Amazing. And it's also possible, you know, in case this is a problem, you know, what you can do, of course, is just you do it like this, right? You
just
go and attack the camp,
pull
then
back
you go
into it. Yeah.
You do this. So at least hit the small camp. Now this is golems, so that sucks ass. So can't
Thanks,
get those. Yeah, my buddy. And I think we did clear this camp first. So this is extremely useful. It's less useful now than it used to be because of the mud golem change, but you can still farm the jungle. And the crazy thing about this is it becomes a part of your rotation. So it's not even really a trade. Imagine I'm doing this right after marching bottom. It's just I just get an extra 200 gold. If it's stacked, it's even more, right?
Right. And if you timed it right, then you can even get the creep respawn.
Yes. The ideal is that you clear it every minute, right? If you want to maximize your efficiency, this is what we're going to do. So we're going to go in, we're going to march rearm. We're going to rearm again like this, or do that, and then we have our bottle. We're going to bottle up rearm. Then we're going to soul ring port bottom. Remember to bottle when you come out of base. It's free. It refills
Yeah,
anyway.
every time.
Tower has been destroyed.
Then we're gonna rearm again. And this might be a little bit off timing. I think we're okay. We'll pull this, then we'll do this march. Then if we run over here, this camp is gonna stack itself meanwhile, because this is outside the spawn box.
Right.
So now there's a double, and we're gonna bottle, we're gonna rearm again. Then we'll soul ring, we'll march again here, we'll keep pulling this while we bottle, and then we'll do that, and then we'll rearm again. And we just got 2 big camps and a small camp in 25 seconds, roughly.
Right.
This is with low-level laser. If you have higher laser, that's even faster, because then the Satyr in the end, I'll just laser and get done with it. So immediately think ahead and we move mid and we rinse and repeat, okay? Alright, so this is part of your efficiency. Then let's have a look at some of the blind spots, I guess. I don't know them all by heart. Once again, I recommend you check out Koikva or Bulba for this as 2 examples of very good players. Let's see, I just need a little bit of gold. I'm so sorry I hosted this without cheats on. So
No worries.
just gonna march this. I just need a little bit of gold. I'll just sell my soul ring and my bottle. Almost got enough. I think this is enough. Wait, what the hell?
Oopsies.
Yeah, so this is actually, that's a good side point to mention. I don't know if you do this, but I just cast laser and then I double-click boots of travel. But the backswing on laser is really long, so you need to stop the backswing first and then TP.
Right.
You saw that my TP got delayed by like almost a full second there because I cast. Let me get in. Nice. Because I cast the full laser first, and this is of course. Alright, this should be enough. Yeah, this is enough. Alright. So now we're going to look toward playing Tinker aggressively. So we're going to port somewhere like this. You shift-click down here. This is a safe spot, I think. I'm pretty sure you're not visible in here. I'm visible because I attacked the creep. I think this is okay. Else, the one that's definitely good is this one, right? In here.
Okay.
This is a good isolation spot. This is your priority isolation spot at tier 1.
Alright.
Top. Alright. Then... Gonna just rearm and get some on it. This is so dumb. If I just had cheats on. Jesus, it would have probably been worth it to restart and post with cheats. Okay. So let's just imagine this tower's gone, okay?
Yeah.
And now we're pushing here. Then let's have a look around the tree line here. This is the tricky spot where there's actually nothing here. It looks like there might be, but this is cluttered. If I blink here, I don't get in.
Okay.
So the safe spot here is this one. And that means if the creep wave is right here, that can be a little bit tricky. Then the safest thing is to blink toward top. If it's here and you play aggressively, you can go in here. This is a decent spot.
Right.
Like right here. It's a very good spot. And of course the alternative is if you're pushing, let's say you're, so we're back to here, right? This is where we were. Then of course, even though it's not a 100% safe spot, the path to get in here is so long.
Yeah.
That you can, if you go here and you blink here, you can march twice and TP out before they get to move all this way first.
Right.
Alright, so that's the top lane. Mid lane is tricky. There's a couple of, I guess the main spots to look at is around the tier 1 tower. Mid. I'll find that right now, actually. Just gonna run past these dumbass creeps, and then... Alright, so let's say the tier 1 is up here, and you want to march the wave here. Blink to safety number 1 is getting in here, right?
Right.
This is number 1. This is a pretty big area, too, so if they have something like arrow, there's not even a guarantee they hit you, because you can...
Right.
So there's a spot here. Then on this side, I do believe there is a spot here. There we go. This is a very good spot too.
Right.
We can just march out here.
Your middle tower
Okay.
is being attacked.
So that's the mid lane, and then in the bottom lane, I think I'll just ping the spots that I know, basically. So in all of this area, there is no safe spot.
Right.
There's absolutely nowhere that you can get stuck. On the right-hand side, there is a place like this in here,
Yeah.
where you can march out this direction. In this tree line here, I don't think there's any either that I can remember. Then when it comes to here, you can blink in here. You can
Yeah.
march from here out here. And there's no safe spot in this area. So that's that. And then when you get to this tower, you can blink in here, I think. This should be a safe spot, I think.
Your bottom tower
And
is under
also... Yeah, I think that's the only one, actually. Is this right there. And this one.
Right.
See, that's the one I mentioned in your game. The one 800 range to the right of the tier 2.
Right.
So even if you feel like you're... That's like the main thing about the blink is actually as a farming item. It's also great in the fights, of course, as a repositioning tool, right? Both of them are incredibly important. It's a way for you to keep up with targets while you hex them in late game, for example, so they never escape from you, and you can just keep blinking and following them. It doesn't cost mana. But as a farming tool, this is what allows Tinker to split push as well as he does, because there's like zero risk involved. That's the crazy thing. Is almost, if you check with all the spots I gave you, there's very, very few situations where you can't just TP on the map and march. And in your game, you were very hesitant to cross, like the line I'm drawing on the minimap right now.
Yeah.
You were hesitant to go beyond this.
Yeah.
And there's no reason to be. Like, if they don't have a good counterpick, push them the hell into their base all the time, and they
Right.
have to defend. And while they do that, this is yours.
Yeah.
And this is yours. So then you take even more. And that's where you get the extra 60, 70 CS you were missing in that game, or maybe even 100 if you do really well.
Right.
And that's when the Dagon 5 is 6-7 minutes earlier, and then the game is over 6-7 minutes earlier. Or maybe 10 minutes earlier. Or 15. Alright, I think that's it. So when it comes to the middle lane dynamics I wanted to tell you about that are generic for every single hero matchup, the things I want to mention to you, let me see, does this fit pretty well? Yeah, this... Oh, we still have 15 minutes to go, that's good. So, when you look at the mid lane, I told you want to be behind this line, right?
Right.
There's like a very small area here that I'm drawing right now. Like this is where you want to be with your wave. You want to hold it there.
Right.
The way you hold it is by constantly denying your own creeps when they go below half health, and then you just hold it there. And the only time you attack enemy creeps is when you can last hit.
Right.
The thing you need to be careful with is even though you have the uphill advantage, let's say the creep wave is here, you're here, and the enemy is here. The moment you start going to attack him, you will draw creep aggro from his wave, which is standing here, and hitting yours, which is standing here.
Right.
So if I go and attack, you're the Kunkka in last game, here, and I want to harass him here. Attack, attack, attack. That's great, but that means his creeps start hitting me. That means I will push the lane, because my creeps are hitting his are not hitting mine. So
Right.
I lose the equilibrium. Now, there are some cases where you can play around this if you have an orb attack, for example. That's why Viper is ridiculously
Yeah,
strong in
he's
mid lane.
stupid.
Because he doesn't draw creep aggro from doing this. So the moment he gets on his cliff, you never get it back. Like, the things you need to know are how to try to deal with it when you get countered this way. This will not generally happen in your bracket, but it's another mechanic you can use to, like, it takes a long time to perfect. I'm not that good at it either. Some of the exceptionally good players the professional mid players are really good at this, because it's part of their job, right?
Right.
So they need to do this. If you're very, very good at this, then you can, what you can do is, first of all, I can hold the lane here, right? And then I'll try to just keep the equilibrium. If you're playing against someone who's really good, what you want to do is, let's say you're the Kunkka and I'm the Tinker, right? I am here, and you're here. You issue an attack command on me, but you don't want to hit me. Just issue an attack command. What's that going to do?
It's gonna draw the creep.
Which creeps?
Yeah, the Tinkers, if I'm Kunkka.
Which Tinker creeps?
The ranged?
No.
Oh. I was guessing.
Every other creep but the range. Alright, so jokes aside, this is why it happens. So I'm gonna pause right now. Here. Okay. Do you see the mid lane?
Yeah.
I'll just unpause so you can get a better angle maybe. Alright, so what's gonna happen now is, let's say the two creep waves are fighting at my cliff. Then the melee creeps will be fighting each other. They will form a wall, and those walls will be hitting each other. And the range creep will be 500 range behind, right?
Right, okay, so he's on
So when you
aggro
issue an
range.
attack command on me, the way creep aggro works is that they start attacking you if you issue an attack command on me within their aggro radius.
Right.
But because the range creep is way further away from you, it's only the melee creeps that will attack you, unless you're literally on top of me and start attacking me, because then the range creep is also within aggro range.
Right,
Does that make
okay.
sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, so here's the important part about what happens, is not only do you draw the aggro away, because ultimately what that would do is you would push the lane, right? Because
Yeah.
if you would issue an attack command on me, my creeps would start running at you, and your creeps would be hitting my creeps. So I would lose on the lane, and you would push toward my tower.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I'm really good, then I can still keep the equilibrium, because I'm like, oh, you're pushing me, great. Then I'll just kite your troops in a circle like I showed you, and wait, right? However, what will happen is you issue an attack command on the melee creeps, or on me, and the melee creeps follow you. And as a result, instead of hitting the wall that we have facing each other, they drop their attack command on you when they're next to your ranged creep. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Okay, let me just try again to make sure. So, all right, we currently have a wall here in the mid lane. All right, I'm unpausing, but let's just let the creep run.
Yeah.
Wall is here. 3 melee creeps from you, 3 melee creeps from me.
Right.
My range creep, your range creep.
Okay.
I am Tinker. I am standing here. You click attack on me. Now my 3 melee creeps here
Move
will start
around
attacking you.
and go for me.
They will run for you. That means they will run in this direction.
Right.
When they give up chasing you because you attack one of your own creeps or the aggro takes priority in a different way, they're going to be here. That means their nearest target is going to be your range creep.
Right.
So what your pulling of aggro does is that it kills your range creep.
Right.
It secures you the last hit on the range creep way safer because it's far away from me instead of like, you know, where... or it secures you the deny, sorry, on the range creep. And as a result, I will now have 3 melee creeps and a range creep, and you will have 3 melee creeps.
And it'll
then
push
I will
the
push
lane
you.
towards me. Yeah. Okay.
And then your job is to get it on your cliff, and so
Right.
the equilibrium will continue.
Right.
And then it's about having the equilibrium on your cliff, and then you push it out when you want the rune, right? And both players will be doing this all the time.
Right.
If you watch pro games, there's so much of these micro exchanges where even down to the single CS, where let's say I'm Tinker and you have a creep that's 80 health, right?
Yeah.
One of your creeps is 80 health, and Tinker is about to start attacking it because he knows that his 3 melee creeps will start hitting that creep, and then he is within last hit range, right?
Right.
Then the other player in that moment will issue an attack command on Tinker so that the creeps that were supposed to hit the creep give up on it and start hitting the enemy hero. Then Tinker misses the last hit, and the
Right.
enemy hero will deny it.
Right.
That's like the micro plays these players make.
My lord.
Because in the middle lane, all of these things add up.
Oh, absolutely.
And I am not saying you need to be able to do this right now, but
No,
I'm
I
saying
know.
just knowing about it can get you out of it. Let's say you're playing against a Viper next time, and instead of being completely screwed, you now try to just aggro. And maybe you fuck it up, but you learn something, you get better. And when you do it enough times, you're like, oh, this is that situation that I recognized I had 2 games ago where I needed to draw aggro. So I'm going to do it again. Ah, it worked again, and now I'm getting the wave back. Suddenly you get 10 CS instead of literally 0 by aggroing the enemy hero. Like, how dumb is that when you, when you think about it, right? You issued 1 attack command, and it saved your laning stage.
Right.
That's the kind of things you can do. So all of these things boil down, right? Yeah, it's all boiled down to micro engages in the lane where you do the right things. Issue attack commands at the right time. You push out the lane and get the runes at the whole 2 minutes. When you're Tinker, and Tinker specifically, Tinker or Shadow Fiend, you want to push out the lane fast with either raises or march, and then you want to go and stack a camp. You'll see both of them do it. Storm Spirit does the same because you can also farm it with remnants, right?
Yeah.
Optimize your farming routes. Get used to looking at the clock more. I think that's something you would really benefit from. It's a habit that a lot of lower skilled players from anywhere between 1k to 4.5 don't use the clock to their advantage, but you look at the clock a lot so that you can plan ahead. It's your tool to knowing when things happen on the map. It's when you know the rune spawns. It's when you know when to go to stack. It's when you know Roshan spawns. It's when you know when enemy heroes have big ultimates again. If Enigma just cast Black Hole at 17 minutes, just write it down. Then you know he doesn't have Black Hole until 20, and then you can play because of the clock, you know what you can do. These things, everything I've told you today, when you add all of those things up and you get better, that's 80 CS at minute, 80 CS more than you had at minute 40. If you do all of those things better. If you do some of them better, maybe it's 50. If you do a few of them better, maybe it's 30. Regardless, it's a massive improvement no matter what, if you just get to do some of it. And I would say, if you want to do a priority list for what you should prioritize the most, with Tinker, get better at using the jungle. And get better at farming aggressively. Use the map a lot more with your Blink Dagger. And all of the other things that I've showed you here in the last, let's say, 20 minutes or so, apply to all mid lane heroes. So whenever you're playing mid, try to use it as much as you can. You will find in the start that it's very difficult, but gradually you'll get more of a grip on it, and it will really be worth the investment in the long run for you.
Right.
With every single. And then on top of all of this, of course, comes your knowledge about what heroes beat each other in lane and how you, like, it's cool and all that you know the mid lane mechanics, but it doesn't really matter if you're playing a Kunkka against a Viper and you think you can kill them, then you still run in and die, right? So
Yeah.
all of that comes on top of it, right? That you understand the mechanics, but maybe your previous ideas of when, like, lanes that are unwinnable, maybe now you can tilt them a little bit, so you get those extra 5 CS that give you your bottle, or you know, that extra bit of stacking you're doing with Tinker in a game where you get ganked 3 times, you're like, I'll never get Boots of Travel. Oh wait, I actually stacked the hard camp 3 times, so I can still get my Boots of Travel at minute 11 instead of 16.
Right.
Like, that's just huge. And that's like your safety net. I'm sure you've had a Tinker game where you got ganked 4 times in the mid lane, and your Boots of Travel were at like minute 20, and you're like, fuck this game, I don't want to play it.
Of course. Yeah.
This is your ticket to avoiding that happening. Because if you stack well and the enemy team never counters it, then you always have a plan B. If you don't have stacks, there's no plan B.
Right.
Then you only have the lane, and if you lose the lane and get destroyed, you have nowhere to go.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Alright. I know that was a lot at once. I hope
absolutely.
you wrote at least some of it down and can use some of it, but it's...
Oh, I've been recording this all too, so...
Oh, that's good, yeah. That's true. Yeah, so over time, this is something that you can really improve with.
Cool.
Okay. We pretty much have 5 minutes left, so I'm not sure what you would want to put in. What you want to put in that time?
What about hero picking then? Like, I'm in a pub, I can't play Tinker. How do I stay like what's a good for my bracket? Does that make sense?
That's a broad question.
Yeah, I didn't think so. All right, that's too hard. I've listened to you.
Ultimately, I can give you a couple of really easy tips of ways of finding out what's a good pick. There's a couple of heroes that are just fundamentally super annoying to play against if you don't have the right tools. Tinker is very difficult to play against if you don't have catch, right? You know that already. That's what you don't like to play against, is a Clockwork, a Storm Spirit, that kind of stuff. Miran, right?
Yeah.
Storm Spirit is very difficult to play against if you don't have Lockdown. So is Weaver, right? Because those heroes are all about the mobility, and if you can't stop them, they'll just run around you and kill you, and you're like, fuck, I wish I had a silence or a stun, and you don't. Oh, well, what are you going to do, right?
Right.
Then there is a hero like Brood, who's exceptionally good if the enemy team does not have a good way of dealing with Spiderlings in lane. Examples of heroes that do well are Axe and Tidehunter and Sand King.
Right.
Those are good at clearing waves, but else Brood can be really good. Now, those are very few select ones that are pretty obvious. Apart from that, I would just say, if you find like some sort of comfortable pool of 5 to 10 heroes you like to play, look at imagine yourself playing the game before it even starts, and look at what heroes the enemy team has. If they have a lot of stuns, maybe it's not or a lot of silences, maybe it's not the Storm game. If they have very low HP heroes, maybe it's good to get a hero with burst or a physical damage carry with spread damage so you can just kill everyone at once. Or look at who you're expecting to face in the mid lane if you're picking a mid hero. If you're against Queen of Pain, it's probably not a good idea that you run a Kunkka mid, or it can be hard at least. You need to be aware.
Yeah, that'd be a hard one.
And just the very general pieces of advice is just you look at what does the enemy have. Think of it this way. Let's say you last pick every time. Now that's not going to be the case, but let's, for the sake of the experiment, say them.
I tried to.
They have 5 heroes. Yeah, they have 5 heroes. You have last pick, and you can go mid. You look at all the 5 heroes they have. You have a hero pool of 10, and then you just think about them one at a time. And you're like, this is not good. This is not good. Oh, this one is really good. I'll get that one.
Okay.
And you just pick out of your pool. If you're picking earlier, it's the same concept, just that you remember that there's a blind pick that can counterpick you. But if your hero is good at least against the 4 others, then even if the last pick really counters you hard, you still have a very good chance at having an impact on the game.
Right.
If you do it when they have 3 heroes shown, there's 2 blind picks. And then what you actually can do is you can pick a hero if you want to put the enemy's lineup in a direction. Let's say they have picked 3 heroes and they have no stuns and no silences, and you pick a Storm. They will be like, shit, we need a silence or a stun. So then you can kind of guide, you can kind of force them to draft heroes that they maybe didn't want because they didn't fit their lineup, but if they don't, they're in trouble. And same goes for Tinker. If they don't have any counter picks yet, you can maybe force them, even when they've already picked their offlaner, they're like, shit, we need a counter to Tinker. They might have to rotate their lanes around and get a clockwork, and the guy they wanted to offlane will now have to jungle or play support or play mid. And if he plays mid, maybe he's shit at mid and you stomp him with your Tinker, then
Right.
it doesn't matter. So,
Yeah, that's forward thinking that I don't think happens in this bracket, but very good to know.
yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think your path right now is try to get as good as you are with Tinker at a handful of other heroes, and
Yeah.
then play 250 pubs, and then you'll be above 3.5k,
Yeah,
I think.
absolutely.
Realistically, if you really focus and you do your best and you try to apply what I've told you today and really try to take it to heart, it's going to be difficult in the start, and gradually, hopefully, so we saved one of your replays today, right? You downloaded,
Yeah,
we downloaded one replay, yeah?
yeah,
Or did we download? Yeah, we downloaded one replay.
just the one, yeah.
You save that replay and try to look at it in a month,
Okay,
maybe, as a funny experiment to see if you've improved, right?
Right.
And you could be like, oh, in that game I actually did this wrong, I did this wrong, I did this wrong, I'm doing this better now. Oh, okay, this thing I did then I would never do again now. If you need some way of convincing yourself that you're getting better, even though your MMR isn't increasing, you'll have a frame of reference. You can just see, okay, I'm definitely doing better than I did back then. I can see my farm is higher, I have higher impact, I'm playing with more confidence, I'm doing the right things. And then increase your hero pool with heroes that you know what to do with. Because now that when you learn the mechanics, then suddenly you can expand your hero pool really fast. Because you can suddenly just take a hero like Shadowfiend to mid, and you're like, well, I know how to control my lane with Shadowfiend. I know when to push for the runes. I know when to go and stack. And suddenly, at this point in the old days, I would have 25 CS with Shadowfiend, and now I have 40, just because I've got that bit better.
Right.
And somewhere down the line, I'll have 50. And that extra 25 CS makes...
Oh,
so much
absolutely,
difference.
absolutely.
It impacts the entire game, right? Because this game's a snowball game, no matter how you look at it. The further you get ahead early, the more you can dominate. And the 25 CS you get early can transform into 100 later on that you else wouldn't have had.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a way of improving, trying to improve your efficiency early on in the game is the fastest way to get better. Because then you will suddenly find that the whole game opens up when you're out farming all your opponents by a significant amount in every single game. Your win rate will increase by 5 to 10% off that alone. Even if you're playing your mechanics with Tinker in late game the exact same, or in mid game the exact same as now. Let's say you don't get better at all at playing your hero mechanically in fights, but you just get better at farming. That's still a 5 to 10% increased win rate from nothing
Absolutely.
else.
Well,
Just
I'll
get
have
the
a
items
stronger Dagon. Yeah, exactly.
And then, like, everything just snowballs. Then it's like, oh wow, in this game in the past maybe that would have been close, and then this time you go 15-0 because you had the items 10 minutes earlier when no one had a BKB.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It's, yeah. See if you can start to push yourself in that direction. You'll be able to really enjoy the results and feel like you have a much higher game impact if you do that.
No, that's a lot to focus on. I like that. It gives me some ideas.
It is a lot. Take whatever is most comfortable for you. Take one thing at a time to focus on, or try a little bit of everything, but just don't forget the things. Just
Oh yeah,
at
no,
some
for
point,
sure.
whenever you feel like you take one thing at a time, or all at once, whatever.
Cool. What would I like? Usually, I find a lot in pubs. I get into the game and there's that guy. You know the guy I'm talking about. He always goes, "I want mid. What do I do?"
You pick another lane.
Yeah, well, I know that obviously, but
Or you insist that you pick mid, and then if he's an absolute, like, if you guys are fighting for mid, you need to be prepared to play double lane mid. And fight him for farm. I would not recommend this.
Yeah, no, that gets reports and flames and all that fun. Alright.
The thing is, there's a lot of the things, like, the mid lane specific things I've taught you are all good and everything, but if you can play, most heroes you can play mid, every single hero you can play mid, you can play safe lane.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? That lane is not restricted. So if you want to play your Tinker and some guy picks mid, you're like, okay, we'll just go safe lane. And then you farm your Boots of Travel and your Soul Ring and your bottle there, and then you use the jungle.
That's true.
And then instead of stacking the jungle yourself, you'll have to ask the supports to do it, because the path for you is too far away from your lane. So they have to do it. But else the concept is pretty much the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, yeah. That's pretty much it for me.
Yeah.
I guess that also fit the timing pretty well. I hope this was what you imagined and that it was useful for you.
Oh, absolutely. That's a great start.
All right, that's great. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you if you like. I like hearing the stories of people I've coached if they come back to me and are like, I feel like this made a big difference or I improved, or if you have any questions, like I'd love to hear if you feel like it really did change your game over the course of whatever time, that you can see you're improving, your MMR is increasing, your it helped out one way or the other. And then if you have some small questions about anything, we don't need to do a coaching session for that. Like if it's very simple, you can just write it and I'll answer you. If it's something more complex, then we'll probably take a session for it, and that could be in 2 weeks or a week, or it can be in 3 months.
Right.
It's totally up to you when you feel like it makes most sense
Right.
to take the next session.
For sure.
You definitely have a lot of stuff to work on now, and it's
Yeah.
going to take time.
Yeah.
And then it's totally up to you whenever you feel like is the time.
I'll talk to you when I'm 4K.
That sounds good. That's ambitious.
Absolutely.
Quite a way.
I know. We'll
Alright.
see. Yeah. Cool. All right, man.
All right, cool. Okay, I'll see you around then. Look forward to hearing from you. Bye.
All right. Take care. Alrighty then. Oh, that was pretty good. I have a lot to learn, and I see you're in my channel, Synd. So hi. Thanks for dropping by my tiny little stream too. That's cool. Alright, so it's 10 after 2. I want to play desperately another game, but I have to take my wife to work, so I will be back in about an hour and a half, and then I'm going to play some massive Tinker games. Like, a lot. So, that was a lot of fun. Damn, I want to play. Damn, damn, damn. Alright, so I'm going to save this. I'm going to save this in my Google Drive so I don't lose those notes. And I'm going to save this VOD. Thanks for sticking around, RuneSmith. Did you learn anything? That guy has a lot of frickin' knowledge. That's all I can say. He's frickin' good. I watched him, I think it was at the DAC. And the stuff he knows is really good. He was predicting the counter picks and the picks before they even picked him, like 3-4 heroes ahead. That's pretty damn good. Where'd that go? Syn notes. Save as. Where did it save it? It's on my desktop. Where the hell is it? Dun, 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 dun. There it is. Alright. Alright, that's saved. Excellent. Well, if you're watching, Synd, thanks again, man. That was really good. I know I'm saying your name the English way. I think you said it's like Sinon or something. I can't remember what you said the other day. But anyways, thanks again. And I will see you guys in an hour if anyone's still around, alright?